This is a mental health disclaimer. Now, before we get into it, you guys, just a heads up. I am not a certified mental health professional. What I share here is based on personal experience and my opinion. If you are dealing with a serious mental health crisis or you need to speak to someone immediately, reach out to a professional. They know what to do and they have you. The information and advice I give are for general insight, not a substitute for professional help. Your choices are your own, not mine. Let's do this journey together. And remember, it's all about personal growth. Now let's get into today's episode. Hey you guys, welcome to another episode of Becoming a Butterfly podcast, the place where it's never too late to become your better self. I'm your host, Christina Butterfly, also known as Chrissy the Artist, and welcome to episode 3. Yes, I'm so excited. This is so amazing that I am doing this and I'm doing this thing consistently. Okay? All right, so today's topic is we're going to talk about overcoming obstacles, finding your wings, y'all. Now listen, question. Are you allowing your obstacles keeping you from your blessings? Well, guess what? We're about to talk about it. Now, my personal story, my personal journey of dealing with obstacles. I have many. Now, I'm not going to go into much detail, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down the list of all the obstacles I had to overcome to get here. Okay? We're going to have a whole podcast episode. I'm going to do a whole live on my personal journey, but I'm going to go down the list. Okay? So as a child, I went through SA abuse from family member that started at 4. Getting a little older as I was growing up in my household, it was really good inside my household, except for the fact that my mother was a big disciplinarian, and being her oldest daughter, she disciplined me like she was disciplined as a child, which included a extension cord. So in some aspects of the world, because my mother in heart is not an abuser at all, but in some aspects, I've dealt with real harsh punishment. I'll put it that way. Then my father dies, my hero, the one who protected me from the disciplinarian, because he was not a big disciplinarian. If I got in trouble from my dad, I knew I did something wrong. Okay. But then my dad dies, and that sent me on a whole different path. Now I'm a teen mom. I'm a high school dropout teen mom to twins, mind you. Okay, high school dropout. Now I'm a victim of ape multiple times. Okay, not even saying getting through that. I learned to accept that into my DNA. I used to say that I must have a sign written on my back and says she'll take it, because it was more than I even understood, but not even realizing that I was carrying around the scars of my uncle, and I was just walking around with a chest wide open, allowing anybody to do anything to me, not understanding that these were my obstacles and ready to give up. Move on a little further, your girl ends up addicted to drugs. Yes, I tell people all the time, your girl used to snort up Peru. Do you hear me? I'm talking 8 balls a day. Do you understand me? Breakfast, that was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Did I mention your girl was on Social Security? Yeah, still is, mind you. Let's keep this clear. Still on Social Security to this very day. Okay? Let me open my cup. And yes, if you're wondering, I did make this. What a cup. That is Chrissy the Artist right there. But overcoming these things wasn't easy, y'all. Not by a long shot. It wasn't easy. So we move up to now. I'm addicted to drugs. I'm living in a project in South Philly. Shout out to Bartram Village. We called it Gilligan's Island. Lose that place, get evicted, get back to my mom, and now I'm in the streets committing crimes. All right. Next thing I know, I'm on a run. Year and a half, your girl was on a run. Every cliche you can think of, I'm telling you, it was all on me, honey. I got them all. Okay. Going through these things, there was a time in my life I didn't recognize them then being obstacles as I was that I needed to overcome. To me, it was just a life that was just happening to me, and it was hell. Girl, look up now. She incarcerated. Now I'm doing a year. Now, believe it or not, without me even understanding, that was the beginning of my cocoon period. And in some ways, I did get it. In a lot of ways, I'm extremely intelligent in other ways, and I catch on to spiritual things even when I don't understand why it's happening to me. But during that time of incarceration, I got the closest I have ever gotten to God at that point in my life. And I just knew that he had something bigger for me, but I didn't understand it. Still wasn't ready to surrender to what he wanted for me. But, gotta learn the hard way, right? That's what happens when you don't recognize that this is just an obstacle that I am meant to overcome. But that was the road that I was on. Now, God truly blessed me because I turned around and ended up in a shelter. I get out of jail, and first off, I get paroled to Trenton, New Jersey. Never wanted to live here, never even visited here, let alone want to live here. So it was really like, what the heck is this? Now, my children was fine. For the first time in my life, I found myself in a situation of it just being me and being responsible for just me, completely off on my own, and had to create a world for myself. Okay? I'm in this mission, and y'all, the mission, if you know, but it ain't the shelter. Okay? But I end up going from the mission, going into a shelter, going into a studio, going into an apartment, going into a house, all in the span of a year. I had to start understanding that these obstacles that I am going through are for my greatness. It's for my greatness. Now that I realize it, then hell no. If I did, I'd have worked harder to be in this position a lot earlier in life. I had to go through more obstacles. I had to go through more things. We are consistently and will always be going through obstacles. So if you are dealing with an obstacle and you're going through something dramatic right now, we're about to go through 5 steps on how to be able to go through obstacles and be okay. How to make it through these things, okay? So we're going to go through one step at a time. Now, we're going to mix it up a little bit, but we're going to take this thing one at a time. All right? So the first obstacle we are going to talk about is acceptance. Now, accepting the situation that you're going through, I know for personal experience, it's not easy. It's definitely easier said than done. I don't want you to ever think that I'm giving these suggestions just out of clean air. It's not happening. These things come from personal experience. And accepting that I was in the situation that I was in, dealing with what I was dealing with, was one of the hardest things I had to do. Because after you deal with acceptance, now you got to deal with being emotionally responsible for everything that happened. How to react to these circumstances and situations responsibly. Honey, one of the hardest lessons for me to learn is to truly not only take responsibility of it, but react to it responsibly. Me and one of my daughters just recently started speaking again, one of my twins. And one of the things that I had the hardest time letting go within my ego was dealing with and reacting to circumstances and situations that I feel was being wrong or done to me or being disrespected to me. And I would fly off the hinges. I'm snapping out, you getting cussed out, you getting flipped, twit, turned, whatever need. What's up? Especially if it comes from a child that I gave birth to. One of the things my daughter said to me in the midst of this argument, it was said, this is why I don't never say anything to you, because you are emotionally, what she called me? It was basically telling me that I didn't have any emotional response You feel what I'm saying? I didn't have any hold on my emotions. And, she might have been right. But I really needed to see and understand what was important. Was it being right or understanding my daughter? You feel what I'm saying? I had to accept responsibility that I don't react to things right. Whether I feel like I'm right or wrong, these are no longer my babies, children, little kids per se. These are now adult women with children of their own. So I have to be more cognizant of the words and how I say it to them. And this is something I'm still working with to this day. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you tick me off, I don't know what's coming out my mouth. That Gemini come rising about my soul so quick. But practicing responses, telling yourself what you're going to do when things make you angry. I tell myself to not respond to it immediately, to sit down and make sure the anger subsides. Now, I ain't gonna act like it always work, but one thing I can tell you is that I recognize it's a problem. I recognize it's an obstacle that I need to overcome. And knowing that once I overcome that part of this obstacle, the blessing on the other side for me will be peace. For not allowing anyone, including my children, to get under my skin so bad that it would take me out of the character that I want to sit in. You feel me? Because we're all capable of snapping. And let's get it clear, it's a time and place for the anger. It really is. But a lot of times when you really assess the situation, it's not the time nor the place. All right? So we're going to go on to step 2. Step 2 is about clarity and assessment. Understanding that what this obstacle is. I just talked about when the more I talked about what I was going through with my daughter, and mind you guys, it took me a long time. Me and my daughter ain't speaking almost 2 years. And in some ways, I still believe, deep down inside of me, there was a level of disrespect that I felt. But I've also had a level of disrespect that I served out to my mother on many a days in my earlier days, especially when I just got grown. Okay, I just had to get to the point where this isn't worth it. Not speaking to my daughter for years isn't worth it. Not being able to hold and be around my grandkids isn't worth it. She gave birth to my first set of twin grandkids. Already being a mother of twins, understanding where she's going through and how she sees what's happening to her in her life. And she's a lot better off than I was, because I didn't even want them. I didn't want any kids. Now, thank you, Lord, he ain't paying no mind to what I wanted. Because I don't know where I would be without them. But my girl, all she ever wanted was to be a mom, let alone have twins. And I didn't even be able to enjoy this time and moment with her because I want to sit in my stubbornness. Nix, what's she doing? I'm going to tell you what's even crazy. The other side of that blessing, when I made a decision to let it go, to let go of my pride, to let go of my ego, and just accept it with open arms. If another apology is what you need to move on in your life, baby, here you go. Hell, 5 more, 10 more, 20 more. If that's what you need for you to have a productive life, because that's all I want for you as your mother. Well, here you go. And guess what, guys? I ain't even have to do it. I ain't even have to apologize. We both ceased fire at the same damn time. But that's what happens. So when you want to really come to clarity and understanding of your obstacle, you got to write these things down. You got to do some self-reflection. You got to go back in your head and really figure out what it is that you're doing that's not causing you to reach that next level. What obstacles is in your way that you're ignoring, you're pushing around, you're doing everything but dealing with it? What is it? Face that thing head on. Stop running from it. If it's a drug addiction, stop running from it. If it's an alcohol abuse, stop running from it. If it's being stuck at a job and you know you're supposed to be a boss, stop running from it. Stop. Recognize that it's a problem. I ain't talking about doing something about it. No, just recognize it. Once you recognize it, then you can be able to set clear and decisive goals on where you're going and what you're doing. But until you recognize and do some self-reflection and figure out exactly what it is that you need to do, you won't be able to set some goals and come up with a strategic plan. It's time to start strategizing. See, these are what happened. And I'm telling you from personal experience, y'all, when I really started recognizing that I was the one holding myself back because I didn't want to go through these obstacles that was put into my life for me to overcome, or how about not even recognizing the obstacles that I've already overcome to realize that I can get through anything because I've already came through hell. Once I recognize that, girl, what do you go out there? You about to lose your mind over another problem. Problems going to keep coming. They going to keep coming. It's never going to stop. Rich, millionaire, billionaire people, they still have problems. They still have obstacles. They still have mountains they need to climb. The question is, are you going to climb it? They obviously are willing to climb it, and some are not. Move themselves off this earth. How many? So we have to decide to say, you know what? I'm going to do some self-reflection, write down these things that I need to overcome, and start setting some goals on how I'm going to do this. And then once I have the goals set, then we're going to go into a strategy plan. And we're going to strategize how I am going to change the whole trajectory of my life and create the life that I know that I was purposeful to live. Because we only got one. I mean, I believe we reincarnated. But at the end of the day, even with reincarnation, honey, you still have no clue who you was. This life, as far as we know, is the only one we live in. So do you want to live your one and only life that you're living right now to the best of your ability? Even if we do get incarnated, that don't mean you come back as a person. That don't mean you want to do this thing over again. So why not do this thing with everything you got now? I don't care how old you are. I don't care how many years. I don't care. It took me turn 40 before I decided to say, this ain't it. I'm tired of living on Social Security. I'm tired of living in subsidy housing. I'm tired of having to listen to people who ain't got nothing to do with my home and how I've raised my family. Tell me what I can and cannot do. Force my child, who's not even at the mindset to pay a bill, to pay more rent than me. I'm done. Your girl said, listen, I started setting some goals. And the crazy thing is, when I set the goals and start coming up with a strategy, I had no idea how these things was going to happen. But when you start setting intentions and believing that thing with everything in your spine, the universe start hearing it and recognizing. God will hear it and recognize it, and you will start seeing your world shift. You'll start seeing things just coming to you that's directly related to what you just wrote down. Number 3, resilience and adaptability. Building resilience. Discuss strategies to develop resilience. Step 3, resilience and adaptability. Building resilience is literally that same little saying that you got to build some thicker skin. You got to get thicker skin. It's deeper than just getting thicker skin. It's understanding that mindset, looking back over your life, realizing all the things that you have overcome so far, and understand that you already building resistance. You already got the thicker skin. Look at what you already done overcome. Look at all of the mountains that you done already climbed. Whether they were steep or high, you still climbed them. Where you thought there was no other way out and that this was it for you. Now you look up, it's 3-5 years later, and that whole thing that you thought was going to kill you is a distant memory. Recognize the strength that's inside of you. Being adaptable. Adaptability is something that I really had to embrace. Now the catch-22 is that I am a Gemini sun, but I'm also a Capricorn moon and a Taurus rising, which means that my first thought is boom, bang. We can flip this. We can go this way. But then I get stuck. Stop. Wait a minute. Maybe not. Then if I think about it too long, I ain't doing it. And now I am stopped preventing my own self to achieve it. because I don't want to adapt to the circumstance or the situation. Now, the good thing I love about me is that the Gemini would stand up full throttle and say, listen, chick, we gonna have to maneuver a little different. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it don't feel right. You know, it's like, no, I don't want nothing to change. You're gonna have to adapt. You got to adapt to a different circumstance, situation, environment. You have to. Being stuck the way you are ain't going nowhere. That's the definition of insanity. You ain't going nowhere. So you might as well go on and adapt to the environment and see exactly where you fit in it. And then mold it for you. Learning from your setbacks. Learning from the things that knocked you off. That was one of the hardest things for me, was to learn why certain things kept happening to me over and over again. And I was pretty good at learning from my mistakes. My mama used to say, Chrissy will make a mistake, but she won't make it twice. But I did though. In certain things, I couldn't get it. You know what I mean? I don't went completely abstinent. I kept picking wrong. And since my picker, as Lisa Nichols will say, since my picker is not working, I'm picking wrong. I had to stop. I gotta stop. I gotta leave this thing alone. I had to accept the fact that and it keeps setting me back. Us women, we get our heart broken. It can completely knock you out of the path that you're supposed to be going on for a minute. And that man that got on about their life and went on here, and we sitting in our room in our bed crying, why you leave me? Okay? But once you understand that setback is for your get back. You feel me? That meant all the men who broke my heart will see me one day on their TV and say, damn. And I want to thank every last one of them. I want to thank every last one of them. Sure do. Being resilient is the thing that will get you through absolutely. Being born and raised in North Philadelphia gave me that thick skin, that strength, that resilience to be able to adapt to any environment, learn from any of my setbacks, and soar. Did you not understand? When I got to Trenton, I have a pocket, a window to throw it out of, and a story to tell to a soul. But your girl was born and raised in the middle of North Philadelphia in the 90s. You will never tell me that I am not built for this. And I had to repeat that to myself, to my soul, more times than I count. I ended up in such a mental abusive relationship. I remember I used to stand up and start quoting Bible scriptures to him, because that's my mama told me was my weapon. And if I couldn't find nothing else, this is my weapon. That man pulled a knife on me. I stepped in front of him like, I dare you. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. You hear me? You got to get that built in your chest. Now I wouldn't recommend somebody doing that, but when that fire, that beast is in you that ain't nobody gonna kill, you cannot help it. You gotta believe in it more than anything in your life. You understand me? The next step we're gonna talk about is seeking support. Guys, this isn't an easy thing about support, okay? Because a lot of times one of the things that stops us from truly diving deep and making that complete change in our lives is that fear of losing everyone you love. The question is that if these people truly love you, you elevate into your greatness shouldn't do anything. And if it does, they were meant to be in this journey with you in life anyway, because everybody can't go with you. So reaching out to people that's more aligned to what you believe in and in the direction that you want to go in is how you elevate. God had kept putting me in positions to be so alone in Trenton. Women didn't know how to take me here. You feel what I'm saying? Either she's cool and I want to be a friend, or want to be around out here, but not too much. You feel what I'm saying? Or flat out just didn't like me because they thought that I felt like I was better than them, not understanding that I'm just so empathetic. You understand what I'm saying? But that wasn't the case. That's not what they seen. Now, for me, once I learned my human design, and we could talk about that. If you want to know more about human design talk, leave it in the chat. Let me know in the chat that you want to hear more about human design. But when I found out about my human design and understood that I'm a projector, I understood that when people looked at me, they either see where go, the greatness of where they can go, or exactly what they hate about themselves. That's all a person can see in me. And because of my aura is so strong and is so penetrating, it can set a person off orbit. You feel what I'm saying? I'm sitting there giving you an advice, reading you like a book because I see it as clear as day. Will send a person to straight festivity, okay? Like, this bitch thinks she better. Not knowing that if you dig in my life, no, I'm not. Not even. But I see it in you so clearly. I know exactly what you need to do to reach the next level. And if you keep doing such and such and such, you ain't never gonna make it then. Now, either someone will take that and accept that. If they acknowledge that I'm in that area, then they'll take it all in. But if they just looking at me as some pain in the ass girl who thinks she know everything, so your girl had to learn, I had to learn not to put myself in situations to allow me just to be my natural happy go self. And the person who's meant to be drawn to me, they will be drawn to me and don't even know why. I know why, but they won't. What also helped was me becoming unapologetically selfish. Yeah, so when it's time to work on yourself, nobody else matters. Your kids can't even come before you. Now, the responsibility of your children, absolutely. But it's literally just like when you getting on an airplane and the pilot and the stewardess is sitting there telling you everything you need to do just in case this plane goes down. And one of the first things they say to you, that if a mask drops out of the sky, you have to put the mask on yourself before you even put it on your child. Because if you try to put it on your child first and you die, who's going to be there for your kid? And yes, as mothers, we will sacrifice our life for our children. But a lot of times, if we just listen to instructions, we ain't got to sacrifice a damn thing. You can save yourself and your baby all at the same damn time. If we don't do self-care, how you gonna be any good for your child? How? You have to have a date that's non-negotiable. This is my day. Everybody in the universe know this is my day. For me, it's the 12th. The 12th of every month, you can kick rock. Do you understand what I'm saying? That time is set just for you to reset, regroup. If you're a single mother, it's even more important. It's even more important. Because the journey of a mama, step 5. Lord, your girl always doing something. Oh, you know what? Let's not skip to step 5 yet. Getting some professional help. Now, let me tell y'all, your girl is in therapy today, right now, today. I decided to go back to therapy, and mind you, I'm no stranger to therapy. One of the obstacles that I did not mention, which is crazy, is that I suffer from several different mental disorders that I've been diagnosed with from the age 11 all the way up to the age 26 is when I received my last diagnosis. No, I'm sorry. 5 years ago, I ended up getting another diagnosis, which hangs on true. But these are all things that I have to live with in my life. And the top one of the list is bipolar disorder. And I'm true blue bipolar. I used it as an excuse most of my life. Now, I use it as a billboard to let people know that nothing, including a mental disorder, can stop you from reaching the greatness that is meant for you, because what God has for you is truly for you. So I'm proud of the fact that I had to learn to manage and navigate life with several mental disorders. Now, did I definitely get to the point to not allow it to define me and how I show up in the world? Absolutely. But it also allows me to forgive myself when I can't show up the way I want to show up, and take that time as rest. Honey, I use my mania. I started to go manic. Your girl is cleaning everything. You understand me? So that way, when the drop come down, I'm too busy proud of the work that I did to even look at it as depression. It's time for me to rest. Reprogramming my mind. That thing wasn't easy. But a part of it was going back to therapy, creating a community around me. Shout out to the wellness community and the Queen Poe. Finding a community that aligned with my beliefs, who aligned in the walk that I am walking. When I found the Queen Poe in the wellness community, it was a game changer for me. You feel what I'm saying? This is people that I don't know directly, but that's my family. Those are my friends. I can reach out and talk and say anything in that space and not be judged or condemned or put down or told you're stupid or not. Any of that. We seem to hang on to just the people that's in our doggone face. And not to say that that's not important as well, because having the connections with your family and loved ones and people you create to be your family is just as important. But sometimes we stop our own blessings by not reaching out to people that might not be somebody you can put your hands on right away, but still can give you that encouraging, uplifting word. Listen, I was in a group meeting last night and a lady came on there and she just was giving her testimony, talking about how she is so grateful for being in this group, even though she don't have a clue how she gonna be able to get things she need to get for her kids. And guess what happens? The community said, put your Cash App in the chat. Put it in the chat. And those who can do. I was so upset that I couldn't, but you know what I did? I prayed for her. And I started praying for her the second she was talking about the obstacles that she was going through. And she was just so grateful that she found a space. She reached out to a community and she see that it's possible for them to be a light at the end of the tunnel. That's what happens when you come to a realization, when you reach out for professional help, you reach out to people, then you start utilizing and receiving tools. Because that's what happens when you go to therapy and you go get to a community. You start getting tools. And see, when you're ready to overcome these obstacles, you will absolutely real quickly bring me the tools, give it to me. When I first went to a program called Dialectical Behavior Therapy, DBT for short, it changed my life. It's a form of psychotherapy. And that's one thing I will offer to anyone who is suffering or dealing with mental disorders. Please seek out some psychotherapy. It's deeper than just talk therapy. It's not about talking about your problems anymore. I know that feeling of getting tired of sitting in this room and sitting in this office and just talking about my doggone problems. What the hell am I supposed to do about them? Help me fix it. And that's what DBT does. It changes the way you look and think at the problems in your life. And it teaches you to find that wise mind, that third eye, that center to make the most best decision for you in your life. And reach out to people, collaborate with people. You want to lose weight? Find an accountability partner. Find someone who's on the same journey. Collaborate with others. Reach out into your community. I'm going to tell you something. When you start to give of yourself, you'll start finding the answers to your obstacles. You understand what I'm saying? Because you filled your cup up. You speaking life to yourself. You feel it. But you still feel like you don't got that shift didn't happen yet? Do a community service. Collab with a friend to do something creative. Put joy and laughter in your life on purpose. Seeking out the support is the key to being able to recognize and to get over obstacles, because you're no longer feeling like you're alone in this thing. You're no longer by yourself on this journey, just the Lone Ranger. I felt so alone and isolated in Trenton for so many years. I could not ever get that good girlfriend click, okay? And growing up in North Philly, I got my sisters. And I'm not talking about my biological sisters. I got them too. I love them dearly. But I got my sisters. It's me and my sisters. I'm 6 years older than my younger sister under me and 10 years older than the baby. 11 years older than the baby. So it's like, I love them, but we're not hanging together. But my sisters, listen, I'll come to Philly and I hit them up and we all day, all night, where you at, what you doing, da da da. And I see that community here in Trenton, but I can never find it for myself. Did not understand that God was not creating that for me. If this was a pit stop, it was not destined for me to be here forever. I had to realize that, and that helped me overcome that obstacle of feeling isolation, alone. Why I can't have no friends? Why I can't have a girlfriend who want to come over and see me and chill with me every weekend? Not one. Well, no, I'm sorry. Shout out to Barbara, my baby girl. That's my girl. Barbara been by my side for the whole 10 years I've been here. And she has to be in and out, but girlfriend got a good job and them badass babies. I love you, babe. But the truth is that I had to find encouragement and collaboration elsewhere. Do you understand me? Me doing this podcast allowed me to be able to collaborate with others, talk to and interview other people who have gone through different obstacles and stuff in their life. And we will have those interviews right here on this podcast. Now listen, before I get to number 5, which I will not be pulling up because your girl done did it again, honey. We done got the wrong words on number 5. Before we get into number 5, I need you. Yes, you. I need you to go on there and go ahead and click that subscribe button right now. Just go hit that like button. If you feeling this message, leave a comment. I would love to talk to you in the comments. So, and listen. I want to hear your story. I want to know your story. I want to know, what is your journey? Your journey might be the very thing that helps someone overcome what they're going through right now. You understand me? Or if you out there and you really just don't understand it, you don't get it, you don't know how you're going to overcome your obstacles. You're telling me, yeah, but I hear you went through it, but you don't know how I'm dealing. If you really want to talk to me, email me at becomingabutterflypod@gmail.com, and we will talk. I will read your letter. We will communicate, and look, it's always an answer. So let's get into step 5. Actions and persistence. Let me tell y'all. Taking action. You done recognize the problem. You done set your goal. You done create your strategy. You reached out to community. You done got you a therapist. You started doing the work. You started applying these things. You done start applying the tools, the technology if need be. We ain't get on that, but listen, all this AI that's coming in, do not run from it. Do not hide from it. Embrace it. Do you understand me? I would have never been able to do this podcast the way I can do this podcast if it was not for ChatGPT. Do you understand me? To be able to stay consistent, to come up with an idea and these thoughts that's rambled in my head, and how ChatGPT can put it in a script form so I can understand and be able to go, okay, I have a format. I couldn't figure out how to put that format together. That's because of my dyslexia. Yeah, them other ailments, okay? We have to embrace and utilize the tools as well as the technology that is accessible for us to use. Realize, start talking to people who you going to collaborate with, who you going to do this thing with, and then make that decision to take action. At this point, is no more time for discussion. The talk is over. It's over. It's time to walk. Period. And I'm not going to say it's going to be easy once you start taking that walk. In fact, the second you start taking that walk, more obstacles is going to come out of the woodworks to knock you clean upside your head. But you done already did the work. All of them tools, all of those things inside of you, it might knock you off for a second, put you on your butt. But that's how you understand that you will always persevere. Perseverance, pushing. You got to understand that you got to persevere through these obstacles, through these triumphs, through these things that you think that this is no point. When you realize you persevering, this is the thing. This is the part right here. This right here, I need you to come in. I need you to listen close. This is the part right here. How do you persevere? By celebrating your progress. Recognize the things that you have achieved. You're not in the same place you started. Stop thinking those little wins ain't no big deal because you ain't waking up exactly where you think you're supposed to be. I'm celebrating this podcast that I'm doing right now. Recording this podcast, this is a celebration to me. Because your girl didn't think it was possible. I didn't think I'd be able to do it. I didn't think I'd be able to keep up. I didn't think I'd be able to be consistent. I'm going to keep it gangster with y'all. Guess what? This episode number 3 is being recorded in December. I am batch content in my stuff. You know why? Because my issue is consistency. And so I know that when I launch on January, it's going to be on my heels, back to back. Girl, what are you doing? So I want all these videos recorded and done. So by the time this number 3 episode that come in the 3rd week of January, I can stand on proud watching this video on that camera, because I know that all the other videos that I recorded are now already listed. I can't say I'm not consistent because I done already recorded the videos, uploaded, put it in there, done. That can't be the issue. Do you understand me? And I celebrate this. I celebrated that I took the courage to do this and not make more excuses of why the day won't be another great day. No, I strapped on that camera. I sat in front of this computer. I turned it on. If I got something wrong, I got it wrong. I made a mistake. Guess what? I'm just learning this thing. Guess what, guys? I'm new to this and I'm proud of it. And I'm going to celebrate it. I want you to always remember this, guys. And I mean absolutely nothing on this earth is happening to you, but everything that you are going through is for your greatness. This is how you come your obstacles and soar, spread the wings and fly. This is how you do it. So I encourage you, if you like this video, if you enjoyed it, you want to see more, I encourage you guys to go ahead and click that subscribe button. Click that bell icon so you know when I'm uploading the next video, you'll be first to know. I need you to do this for me, guys, so that you can let YouTube know that you enjoy this content and that you are getting something out of it. Okay? Make sure you hit that like button, because that like button also counts. And all these things I ask of you don't cost you a dime. So take the time out to do it for me, okay? Thank you so much for joining me today on this podcast. I want you to make sure that you recognize these steps that we talked about today, guys. All right? Understand the importance of it. And if you need a quick reminder, we can go through a quick reminder real quick, okay? Acceptance is number 1. Acknowledge the obstacles existing and embrace it as an opportunity for growth. Clarity and assessment. Understand the obstacle's nature and its impact and set clear, achievable goals. All right. Resilience and adaptability. Build resilience. Stay flexible and view setbacks as learning experiences. Seek support and resources. Reach out to friends, family, and mentors. Use available tools for professional help. Go get a therapist. If you are low income, you have it. All you need to do is find the one that clicks with you. But as long as you get medical, you have access to therapy. Do not stay sitting in the mess. When I lived in Philly, I went to many a therapist, many a years, and I switched up as many times as I need to, but your girl was going to have a therapist. Because every time I felt like I didn't need one, all hell broke loose. All right? Take action and persistence. Take consistent steps forward. Persist through challenges and celebrate your process. Don't you skip a celebration. If you understand what I'm talking about, I celebrate every doggone thing. If I wrote in my journal that day, we celebrating. Do you understand me? Because your girl will forget. I think I forgot to fill in my night part last night in my journal. You'll feel what I'm saying, and this morning. But your girl was in the full moon energy. I was in full moon bloom energy. But understand that. You hear me? Get it deep in your bones. Take action and be persistent. And understand that any challenges that you are going through, any challenges, is for your greatness. So you celebrate every win. And don't you think twice about it. All right, guys, I love you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of my soul. I absolutely love you. Thank you for joining me on Becoming a Butterfly podcast. I'm the host, Christina Butterfly, and I will see you right back here next week. Love you.